Hello, ninth graders. Welcome to this lecture. Today we're going to do two things. One, go through the last unit in comprehension, which is business and trade. And number two, I will explain to you the last grammar lesson, conditionals. Okay, so please pay close attention. And if you need to watch this video again, please do so, and for any concerns we will discuss further and also answer different examples on live Zoom, so don't worry. Okay, so let's answer the following questions before we begin our new lesson. First of all, what does the word trade refer to? What do we mean when we say trade? Okay, we mean commerce. Okay, buying and selling of goods. Okay, you trade goods for money. You buy and maybe you sell. Who is an entrepreneur? I'm sure most of you have heard this, especially at ISI. We actually have a subject called entrepreneurship, which we will start taking by next year. Who is an entrepreneur? What kind of person is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person who starts a new business even though it might be risky. So he takes this risk to start a new business in a new place. He has this great idea, so he wants to try it out. Okay, if you are an entrepreneur, what kind of personality trait would you have? Okay, business people, successful business people in general, and entrepreneurs need to be confident, need to be brave, willing to take risks, okay, or else they wouldn't just open a new business without really knowing what the outcome would be. Number 4, what is the latest trend in business and trade? How are business transactions are exchanges, buying and selling, mostly taking place in our modern world? Your last item, the last item you bought, how did you buy it? I would say most of you bought it online. Okay, so online trading, online business is the latest trend. We get a lot of commodities online. We can sell online, we can buy online, and it's the next big thing. We are living at an age where everything has become related to the internet. Okay, so there are the precise answers. What does the word trade refer to? The word trade refers to buying and selling of goods and services. It doesn't have to be real things. It could be a service, okay? Okay, like a taxi is a service, okay? Banking is a service. Number 2, who is an entrepreneur? An entrepreneur is a person who sets up a business taking financial risks, financial related to money, in the hope to profit or in the hope of making profit. Number 3, what personality qualities do business people and entrepreneurs need to have? A business person and an entrepreneur needs to be brave, confident, has leadership qualities, and not afraid to take risks. Okay, number 4, what is the latest trend in business and trade? How are business transactions and buying and selling mostly taking place in our modern world? Nowadays, business deals, transactions, and buying and selling are increasingly taking place online through the internet. This is the biggest trend in the business world. And examples, vivid examples, are Amazon, Alibaba, OLX in Lebanon. You buy and sell through social media apps. You have an Instagram account where you sell and buy things. You have a Facebook business account, okay? And those people, in fact, the richest people in the world now are those who have online businesses or who practice business and trade online. Let's take a look at some of those people. Here's a list of the most famous entrepreneurs of all time, or of our time precisely. And when we say entrepreneur, we mean a person who started a certain business knowing that it might be risky. There was a lot of risk in it, but that person started the business. Let's start first with Oprah Winfrey. Okay, maybe she's not into buying and selling online, but she's a talk show host, a TV producer, and a media executive. She started her own business from scratch, from nothing, and she, by believing or through believing in herself, she managed to become one of the richest and most successful people on earth. She's a billionaire. Jeff Bezos, owner of Amazon, the online ordering like mammoth, okay? It's grand, it's big, and he's a billionaire. Bill Gates, owner of Microsoft. Mark Zuckerberg, owner of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Jack Ma, owner of Alibaba Group, which is also an online buying and selling, online item selling company. Okay, of all of those, if you notice, 4 out of 5 have something to do with online. Okay, with the online, with the internet. 4 out of 5, and they are the biggest millionaires of our modern times. They were brave, they were willing to take risks, and they managed to succeed. Now let's begin with our lesson related to this idea, roadmap to success. Let me start reading. Read the following text, the blurb of course. Read the following text to find out what helped each of these individuals make it. What traits should one possess to succeed in the business world? Okay, those are a different set of people who were very successful entrepreneurs. Okay, paragraph 1. The business world is highly competitive with ambitious individuals. Ambitious, another trait of entrepreneurs. Ambitious individuals coming up with new ideas every day and struggling to transform their ideas to reality and to make it in the big market. Sometimes people move from small towns to big cities to fulfill their dreams with nothing more than their talent in hand. Other times, people find themselves in difficult situations after hitting rock bottom, and there is no way to go but up. Following are 4 inspirational success stories. Success story number 1. Coming from a small town, Nehan, in Himachal Pradesh, Manavjit Singh has proved, that's in India, has proved that no boundaries can stop you if you aspire to dream big and turn it into reality. Currently operational in Mumbai, Delhi, okay, Kolkata, Bangalore, Pune, and Hyderabad, those are all cities, major cities in India. With over 27,000 applications generated so far, Rubik, the fintech disruptor, has processed loans and more than 8,000 credit cards set up since inception. It is now looking forward to winning over more financial institutions in the country. Manavjit Singh landed in Mumbai from a town where the total human population is just 28,899. The passion to make it big has made him work with some of the best brands like CITI, HDFC Bank, Reliance Capital, and Yes Bank. Those are all in India. Paragraph 3, think big, dream big, is the mantra that I believe in. Mantra is something that you constantly repeat to yourself, like sort of a prayer. Ever since my journey started from Himachal Pradesh, I always wanted to make it big. And after working for almost 25 years in the corporate field, I realized that to disrupt the market practices and implement new ideas, you need a blank canvas on which you could draw a picture suited to the needs of the consumer. Okay, you could draw a picture on a blank canvas. Of course, this is a metaphor. It's like starting from a blank sheet, what an entrepreneur would do, suited to the needs of the consumer. And that's how my entrepreneurial journey started, said Manavjit Singh, CEO and founder of Rubik. CEO is the Chief Executive Officer of an institution. Success story number 2. If you are born in Siliguri, a town in the Darjeeling district, many of you have probably heard of the type of tea called Darjeeling tea, then it's very likely that you are doing something related to tea. Very famous place for growing tea. Kaushal Dugar, a serial entrepreneur, came back to his hometown to tap this opportunity. Tap an opportunity means dig into it. And today he is turning the small young green leaf, that's the tea leaf, into a delicious drink. I came back to Siliguri and decided to work for my older brother, who runs a tea export business. They export tea, meaning they send it outside India for sale. Export is the opposite of import, where you will get things from outside into your country. Here, EX, they send the tea out. Working there showed me the other side to the business from what I had seen with my father. I saw the infrastructure that was being used to take the tea from gardens to the consumer and was surprised to how dated it was. And in these challenges, I saw a great opportunity for a change, said Dugar. Success story number 3. Most people start small and eventually work their way up to working with bigger, more prestigious companies. Leroy Batista, founder of Nick and Luke, has seen his career take the opposite path, and he's better off for it. Batista, who worked in commercial kitchens, high-end restaurants, high-end means very famous, very luxurious restaurants, and successful catering companies for 25 years, was ultimately laid off. Laid off means, fired, let go, from his job as a chef during the recent economic downturn. Instead of sulking or settling for less, he saw it as a chance to finally do what some of his co-workers and friends had been telling him to do: make his sauces and vinaigrettes and sell them at local markets. Okay, so this guy was very famous for types of sauces he made. Vinaigrettes are salad dressing, so he started his own company. Okay, thus it was out of opportunistic necessity that Nick and Luke was born. Originally selling just a few flavors, Nick and Luke has now expanded to include 17 flavors that can be found in local shops, markets, and online. What sets it apart from some of the competition is that it uses no artificial ingredients and only local produce. So this is what made him different and special in the market. Paragraph 8. For many small businesses, the word local is thrown around as a way of garnering business or appearing trendy, but for Nick and Luke, it's a core value. Batista finds it important to support the local business like himself. Finally, success story number 4. 30 years ago, Cloutier, 69, founded American Management Services on a simple insight. So this was his idea, his insight. Many small business owners have no idea what they are doing and need someone to tell them so to their faces. Cloutier, the son of a Maine grocer, first realized this as a Harvard College and Harvard Business School student, working part-time for a variety of local businesses. The ideas Cloutier has preached ever since, particularly in his 2009 book, "Profits aren't everything, they're the only thing." Look at his motto, okay? This is the title of a book. So to him, profit is everything. Profit is the only thing, okay? Are pretty commonsensical, not to mention decidedly old school. Watch cash flow like a hawk, pay yourself first, reward employees for performance only. This guy is not easy, by the way. Cut costs viciously, sell constantly. It's easy to find and diagnose the problems of small businesses, Cloutier says. The problem is getting management to implement the solution, as he has often joked. Nothing happens until somebody cries. I guess this guy makes a lot of his employees cry. Okay, this guy wants production. He's not into feelings. He just wants things to be done. Okay? Now, let's move on to answering some comprehension questions. Match the number of the story to the corresponding subheading. Tough love for small business. We just read about it. That's the fourth story. Nick and Luke, jam or vinaigrette or dressing. Okay, that was the third one. The Himachali fintech disruptor, the first one. And the brewing startup in Siliguri related to tea. That's the second story. Okay. 4, 3, 1, 2. Moving on, the following statements are false because they misinterpret information. Some information stated or implied in the text. Rewrite each statement correctly. They are all false, okay? So no need to write false, just rewrite it correctly. Kaushal Dugar was the first in his family to work in the tea business. We know that is not true. Kaushal's brother and father both worked in the tea business. Then he joined them. 2. Leroy Batista quit his original job because he found it boring. No, he was let go because of the economic situation. 3. According to Cloutier, the most difficult part is to find and diagnose the problems of small businesses. No, the most difficult part is to make things work, okay? Make people work. Okay, Kaushal Dugar's father and brother had already been working in the tea business when he decided to join in. Leroy Batista was fired from his job as the economy deteriorated or became worse. According to Cloutier, the most difficult part is to get management to implement his teachings and principles. As we knew about Cloutier, he is a tough person, okay? He wants things done. He is into business and profit is the only thing to him. And he believes that nothing will get done until someone cries. So he might make his employee cry if he or she is not doing well or not doing their jobs as he wants to. So, moving on, part D, extracts again. When you had written the main idea of each paragraph next to it, this will be a piece of cake. Today, the startup is backed by Javco Asia, Accel Partners, Keystone Group, LP, and Dragoneer Investment Group. Apart from this, they have so far shipped over 35 million cups worth of tea. Obviously, this goes in the paragraph where they were talking about the Darjeeling tea and the person who joined his brother in the tea business. Extract B, he explains, we use locally grown ingredients like chili peppers. We're a small local company and we support others like ourselves. The guy who Batista, who worked with the vinaigrettes and the salad dressings, etc. So, extract A completes paragraph 5. Extract B completes paragraph 8. Please write it in a full sentence. Paraphrasing. Paraphrasing meaning explaining things using your own words. Okay, you might get one of those questions on the official exams. I told you about the right way to paraphrase. We have to begin with a citation. Citation, C-I-T-A-T-I-O-N, means tell me what the source is. Okay, they already told us that it's in paragraph 1. We go to paragraph 1 and find which sentence it is. And by sentence, I mean a full idea that ends with an end mark, full stop, question mark, or exclamation. A line is not a sentence, okay? So, let's take a look at this original sentence. People find themselves in difficult situations after hitting rock bottom, okay? And there is no way to go but up. Okay, I went back to the paragraph and I realized it was in sentence 3. So this is how I paraphrase. My citation in sentence 3, paragraph 1 of the text entitled Roadmap to Success. You don't need to write entitled, but it's a fancy word, use it. Of the text entitled, meaning giving the title of Roadmap to Success, close quotations. The author explains that when a person loses everything or is placed in the most difficult situation and has nothing to lose anymore, he or she has no choice but to start over. Full stop. Okay? We explained it in simpler form. We wrote it in our own words, and most importantly, we began by citation. Okay? Now, this brings us to our final grammar lesson, the conditionals. Okay, at this stage, some of you might like a 10-minute, 15-minute break, or maybe you could watch this later on during the day, but please be very attentive when you are listening to this video. Maybe you would like to take notes, okay? But anyway, the video is available for you to repeat once and twice, and no matter how many times you would like that. The conditionals. What is a conditional sentence? Okay, a conditional sentence is a supposition. I am supposing something, okay? I suppose it's going to rain. I'm supposing, which is the opposite of a real life situation. Okay? A supposition, you're supposing something, it doesn't mean it's the real life situation. But let me give you an example of what I mean. Here's a real life situation. Lama doesn't like Japanese food, so she doesn't eat sushi. I know that about the Lama. It is real about Lama. The conditional form is what I am supposing, okay? The supposition is the opposite of that. If Lama, okay, Lama doesn't like Japanese food, so she doesn't eat sushi. However, if Lama liked Japanese food, she would eat sushi. I'm supposing, okay? I wrote it in the opposite form, okay? So the conditional form, as seen above, is a supposition which is the opposite of reality. Here is reality. If I want to write it in conditional form, I need to write the opposite of that, okay? Let's take this quick example, oral example. Muhammad hates summer season because he doesn't like the beach. This is the reality about Muhammad. Now, if Muhammad didn't hate the summer season, he, okay, would go to the beach. Okay? Now, also about a conditional sentence. So first of all, it's a supposition, the opposite of a reality. Okay, I'm supposing something. Second, a conditional sentence is generally a cause-effect sentence with the if part being the cause, or what we call the condition, okay? And the effect part being the result. So, in a conditional sentence, we have a condition and a result. If water reaches 100 degrees, comma, it will boil. Condition, result, okay? The condition part can be at the beginning or at the end. Take a look at this. If you study well, comma, very important, you will pass. This is the condition here. If you study well is my condition, and the result is you will pass. However, look at the other part of the sentence here. You will pass if you study well. The condition is here in the second part of the sentence. What changed from here to here? I flipped the places of the condition, but I had to remove the comma. When the condition is in the second part of the sentence, don't use a comma, okay? Notice that when the conditional part is in the next part of a sentence, we do not put a comma. We put a comma only when the sentence begins with a conditional. Okay, very important rules to know. Okay, little details, but they're important in the grading process. Now, to change from a real life situation into a conditional. This is our main concern. This is how it appears on the official exam. Rewrite the following sentence starting as indicated. A real life situation into an if clause or into a conditional sentence. Let's take this example. If James follows up on his lessons, comma, because the conditional is at the beginning, he will pass this year. This is the result. Condition, result. 3 steps to change, and I always like to give you steps to follow, okay? Everything is in life is easier when we follow steps, okay? And I made it as simple as possible. 1, identify the cause or the condition or the if part. Where's the if part? There it is. If James follows up on his lessons. So I did part 1. Step 2, what is it? Move 1 step back in the timeline. Everything present becomes past. For example, present simple, past simple. Present continuous, past continuous. Okay? Past perfect remains past perfect. We already talked about that in the quoted reported. Past perfect continuous, past perfect continuous. That's the end of the timeline. Okay? So everything present becomes its past, okay, counterpart. Step 3, positive becomes negative and negative becomes positive. How? When I have a not in the real life situation, I don't have a not in the supposition or the conditional. And if I don't have a not in the real life situation, I need to have a not in the conditional. Let's see this example to make it simpler. If James follows up on his lessons, my first step, identify the cause. Yes, there is my cause. I did the first step successfully. If you do not do the first step correctly, that's it. You lost the 1 point, okay? Or the 2 points. Sometimes it's 2 points on the test. Identify the cause. Again, where is the cause? It's the if clause or the condition. That's always my cause. Step 2, move 1 step back in the timeline. Where's the verb here? Follows up. Follows up is in which tense? Present simple. This is a phrasal verb, by the way. Follows up becomes didn't follow up. Why? Because we changed it into the past simple and we had to put it in the negative or else it wouldn't be logical. Follows up, didn't follow up, positive, negative, past simple. Now the next part also will pass. I have to change all the positives to negatives and all the negatives to positives. Will pass. Will of course becomes would. Will is a present modal. It becomes a past modal, would. Okay, positive becomes negative, will pass, will not pass. How is my answer? If James, okay, my original sentence, if James follows up on his lessons, he will pass this year. This is the real situation of James. However, we suppose that if James didn't follow up on his lessons, he would not pass this year. The last step of this, read the sentence. If it doesn't make sense, you have missed 1 step, so go back and check it, okay? If it's not logical, you missed something, okay? Here is a chart that I compiled for my students and I use it every year. So let's take a look at it. Here is my original sentence here. Ahmed studies, so he will pass. Where's my condition? Ahmed studies, okay? The result, he will pass. My condition is in the present simple. Here it is, okay? He will pass, okay? Because it's in the present simple, the result clause needs to be written in will or will not, depending, plus base form. Will plus base form. Now, if I want to change this to a supposition, this is real about Ahmed. I want to put it in the conditional, meaning in the if form. Now, it's in the present simple, isn't it? Here we are at this point. So I need to move 1 step back in the timeline. Present simple becomes what? I hear you say it, past simple. Look at what I do with this chart. Okay, I go like that. Past simple. So if Ahmed didn't study, of course, the step of putting the negative. If Ahmed didn't study, Now what do I write in the rest in the result clause? I move like that, down to the past and forward to the result clause. What do I need to do? Would. Those are standard, not past base form. Okay? So Ahmed studies, so he will pass. Where did I start originally? In the present simple. I need to move one step back in the timeline. This brings me where? To the past simple, and then move straight forward. You need to memorize this chart. Straight forward to would not plus base form. Okay? If Ahmed didn't study well, or it didn't study, comma, he would not pass. Does it make sense when you reread it? Of course it does. Now let me take another example where I start from a different place. Ahmed studied well, so, and remember here you need to remove the so, okay? It doesn't make sense if you keep it in the next sentence. Next example here, Ahmed studied well, so he passed, okay? Where did we start from? Yes, we started from the past simple. So what do? We do this. Past simple, we move one step back. Where? To the past perfect. When we move to the past perfect, studied becomes had studied, and in the negative, hadn't studied. Positive becomes negative. Go, okay, on until you reach this. What should we write in the result clause? Wouldn't have passed. Would not have passed. Past participle. When you move from the past simple to the past perfect, this is what you have to do. And this is the part that concerns me, guys. You need to study this chart. It would take you all of 5 minutes, okay? Write it, rewrite it so that you memorize it. Because as I told you time and time again, when we write something, it is like reading it 20 times, okay? So this is our chart. Most importantly, the answer needs to do what? To be what? It needs to make sense. Reread it. If your answer is not logical, you probably missed a step. Let's take an example here. If Ahmed didn't study, he would pass. When I read my answer, oh my God, I probably missed something. What did I miss here? I missed putting a not here. Okay, you forgot to change one positive to, you changed this to the negative, okay. You wrote didn't, but here you didn't put not. Okay, you need to put not. Every positive becomes negative, and every negative goes back to positive. Okay, logically, if Ahmed didn't study, he wouldn't pass. Okay, so let's answer some examples from your worksheet. Okay, this is the worksheet that I will upload. I will answer the first 3 questions. Please complete it so that we can discuss on Zoom Live. Okay. Comprehension part, not comprehension, I'm sorry. Worksheet part A. Sam didn't attend the ceremony because he was sick. Step 1. I hear several of you say, identify the cause. Of course, the cause, he was sick, because he was sick. So this is my if clause here. Okay, the cause is my condition, my if. Okay. Now, present, what tense is it? Past simple. So I need to move back to the past. Yes, past perfect. We moved one step into the timeline, and we need to change positive to negative and negative to positive. So if Sam hadn't been sick, the past perfect of was is had been. And here it's positive, I need to write it in the negative. If Sam hadn't been too sick, let's take a look here. This is negative, we need to change it to positive. And with the past perfect, when you see in the chart, we need to write would plus have plus past participle. If Sam hadn't been too sick, he would have attended, because we need a past participle, the ceremony. If Sam hadn't been too sick, he would have attended the ceremony. Okay? Number 1. This is number 2 now. Cynthia likes bargaining, so she usually gets good prices. What's the cost here? Cynthia likes, always circle your verb so you know where to start from. Cynthia likes bargaining, and this is the result. Of course, we need to remove the so. Okay, so where's the if part? Here, Cynthia and bargaining. If Cynthia like, in the negative liked, but I need to write it in the past liked, but we need to write it in the negative. The negative form of like in the past. If Cynthia didn't like bargaining, remove the so, she wouldn't usually get good prices. This becomes in the past form. When you take a look at the chart now, go back to the chart and you see that when you are in the past simple part, when you move straight forward is would plus base form. Wouldn't get good prices. Positive, negative, positive, negative. Okay? Finally, number 3, Greg was speaking out of turn. So the teacher asked him to keep quiet. What's the cause here? Okay, I hear you say it. Greg was speaking out of turn. This is my if part, okay? If. Which tense is it in? Yes, past continuous. Past continuous becomes what? Past perfect continuous. So if Greg hadn't been speaking, negative, of course, because this is positive. If Greg hadn't been speaking out of turn, comma, we remove the so, the teacher wouldn't have asked him to keep silent. Move down in the chart to the part with the past perfect and move straight forward. You would see that you need to write would plus have plus past participle. We need to add the not because this is in the positive. You need to put it in the negative. Okay, so Sam didn't attend the ceremony because he was too sick. If Sam hadn't been sick, he would have attended the ceremony. Cynthia likes bargaining, so she usually gets good prices. If she didn't like bargaining, comma, Cynthia wouldn't usually get good prices. Greg was speaking out of turn, so the teacher asked him to keep silent. If Greg hadn't been speaking out of turn, the teacher wouldn't have asked him to keep silent. Okay? Now, for any further questions, we will discuss this into detail. Now, this brings us to the easiest part of the conditionals. They're called conditionals without if. They use words, they begin the sentence with words like shall, had, and were. Most of you would tell me that these sentences don't make sense. Well, they are correct. Okay, let's take a look at some of them. And some you have, now you will see as we go on that we have already taken this in the inversions part, okay? And we took several exercises related to this in the worksheet about inversions. Examples. If he hadn't listened to me, he wouldn't have fallen into trouble. This is a conditional with if. Now I want to write a conditional with had. I want to start my sentence with had. This is how it will appear on the official exam. They give you this sentence and they give you this word to start with. Many people who hadn't taken this lesson or hadn't listened properly would freeze at this. How can this make sense? How am I going to make a sentence out of this? Now I will tell you. Step 1, cross out the if. Take a look at it. Step 1, I cross out the if because the next one is a conditional without if. Step 2, invert the places of the subject and the verb. It's basically an inversion, okay? Remove the if, invert, and no change in the tense. This is the coolest part of inversions without if. We don't need to go back in the timeline. With shall, had, and were, when you start with those conditionals, don't change the tense. Had he listen to me, comma, he wouldn't have fallen in trouble. Again, this is a conditional part. When you start with had or were or shall, you need to use a comma. However, if they are in the next part of the sentence, remove the comma, please. He wouldn't have fallen into trouble had he listened to me. That makes perfect sense. Okay? So, step 1, cross out the if, very, very easy. Invert or exchange the places of the subject and the verb, okay, had and the he. No change in tense. Moving on, let's do 2 more together with the should and the where. If you need any help, please, comma, please ask. Now, I want you to rewrite this sentence starting with should. This is how it appears on the official exam. Step 1, let me remove if. Step 2, okay, I gave you the should. I already gave it to you, so you just do what? Put the subject after it. Should you need any help, comma, please ask, full stop. Finally, number 3. Okay, I like those sentences. If I were in Nadia's place, comma, I would accept the offer. I need you to write this sentence starting with where. Step 1, remove the if. Step 2, I have, okay, to do what? Invert. Exchange the places of the subject and the verb. Were I in Nadia's place, I would accept the offer. Many would say this sentence doesn't make sense. Well, it is a correct sentence. It is not used as much as the first sentence, but it is equally correct. Why do we put that? Why did I put the were in the beginning? For emphasis, okay? Inversions are done for emphasis of a certain point, okay? So this is easy. This is the easiest part of the conditionals. Please, please read and listen to this video carefully before you attempt to do the worksheet. And for any questions, we will discuss that further and in more detail on live Zoom. We will further discuss business and trade. If you have any questions concerning the terms related to this comprehension lesson, okay, and finally the conditionals. Hope to see you very soon and stay safe. Bye.